Hello everyone, how you going? And welcome to Lifehacks, the place that we all should be coming. You know, if you're ever a little bit stressed, you just come to Lifehacks and you go, okay, thank goodness it just has uncommon solutions to common problems. So really, I never understand why there isn't more people on here because it's literally that simple. You come onto Lifehacks, you look at some solutions and then bam, your life's just instantly better, isn't it? But anyway, let's jump straight into it, shall we? So then starting right off with, I don't really know what to call it, but it's a bunch of emojis. Oh, actually, I saw it was a crossbows. How to get a fire going without just using your lungs. Here we go. This is incredible. And my goodness, why hasn't anyone thought of this before? I mean, especially if you have a shovel, you can literally just dig another hole in the ground and then you make, I don't even know, like I guess it's a furnace in a way, you know, you're just pumping air into it. But no, that really is incredible and it just saves you from kind of breathing in all the smoke around the fire. And also in terms of just the sheer volume that you can get out of the garbage bag compared to your lungs, I mean, yeah, your lungs are pretty good, but it's not going to be anything in comparison to a 50, 60, however many liter garbage bag like that is. So what can I say? Lifehacks just immediately delivers with the Lifehacks. It is that simple. Exactly like I said, you know, you come on here and you find solutions to just common problems. It doesn't get any simpler than that. And really, this one just makes so much sense, like I said, because you're not kind of breathing in the smoke and it kind of just chasing you around the entire time. And considering the fact that this just takes a garbage bag and a little bit of a shovel, I mean, you might be able to do it with your hands, but you probably won't be able to get through most grounds. For common, it makes so much sense because if you're going to be going camping, then you're probably going to have some kind of plastic bag or some kind of just bag that you can use to even put stuff in. And then also you're probably going to have a shovel for, well, for multiple reasons, let's say. And if I'm honest, looking at that guy, he certainly looks as though he has a few other tricks up his belt, or if nothing else, you definitely can trust what he's doing. You know, he is fully dressed up to the max, full boots, virtually an entire military kit just without all the excess baggage. You know, you got the boots, you got the camo and everything. So yeah, this guy definitely knows what he's doing. And so I guess in that regard, it makes sense how he would know such a thing. And also I was thinking that I'd seen something like this before, even just kind of the concept, and it's for sleeping bags. You know, I can't remember, what is it, Cedar Summit, and I think it's an Australian camping brand. They literally do this with their inflatable air mattresses. I haven't actually seen one in the flesh, but someone was telling me about it, like the sack that it comes in, or you can actually just store it in, that actually kind of connects to it. And then in doing so, you literally just do virtually the exact same thing here. So once again, that is just people thinking of creative solutions just to save your lungs. If only you could do that with pool toys and things as well, because, oh man, if you don't have a pump for a pool toy, you were certainly going to be there for a while, just kind of huffing and puffing. And look, considering the fact that we are in Lifehacks and this is just for people helping people out, so I feel as though the only little bit of information or just advice that I would give is maybe just make sure you keep the plastic bag away from the fire. You know, obviously you're going to be drawing air in or pushing air in, but really just make sure that the heat doesn't really turn into the plastic, because, well, I guess one, you're going to kind of ruin your inflating device or your fire device or whatever you want to call it, and at the same time you'll also just have to deal with the disgusting smell. So yeah, just kind of good life hack, but just take precaution. Common runner's trick: wear socks inside out to prevent blisters and chafing from seams. Now this is definitely one that I would never have thought of, but I guess it makes sense because obviously a sock generally is on the outside, is perfectly uniform, where on the inside, yeah, it does have the seams. So wow, I mean, I don't really know if my feet have ever had this problem in terms of just the seams, like how hard are your seams of your socks, but I mean, I guess if this is a problem people are having, this is exactly what it's for, so hey, there you go. But to be honest, it does make me wonder, is this the way that this person just wears socks day in, day out? Because I mean, surely if socks were designed to be worn this way for a reason, then it probably would have been designed that way from the beginning. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking about this wrong, but surely, I mean, obviously you kind of want a nice looking sock in terms of from a selling point of view, but surely out of every piece of clothing, and especially the bit that is going to be in the shoe, surely the sock can actually just be designed to be completely utilitarian. You know, if it needs to be designed inside out in a kind of common sense, then surely it would be. So even though I can definitely understand how this would work, I just don't understand why it needs to be done. And to be honest, as we can clearly see in this photo, generally the inside of the sock is kind of the fluffy part, so that's going to be the nicer part on your foot in terms of just how soft it is, and so it's kind of just a massive trade-off, you know. But like I said, I have never heard of anyone getting blisters and everything just from the seams in their sock. I mean, I feel as though maybe you just want to look into some different socks if that's the case. And then in saying that, do you then have to wear another sock over the top of that sock to make it look more uniform? I mean, obviously that's not going to look very uniform in terms of when you first put it on, and if anyone ever spotted you wearing two socks, then you're probably going to get a couple of weird looks unless it's just freezing outside. But at the same time, it just doesn't make sense to me why a sock. I mean, it makes sense as to why it would work, but why wouldn't socks be designed that way? Because if you were able to get rid of the blisters and everything from the seams, then really just wearing a sock the traditional way would be so much comfier, because, well, all the fluff just faces inside and also just looks correct, and you just don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff. So I don't know about this one. I mean, it definitely makes sense, I can understand it, but I've never heard of this being a problem. And even though I guess that's exactly what this is about, and obviously a whole bunch of people have had this problem, I just really feel as though there are probably some other workarounds that you should do instead of this. You know, maybe you can just kind of get a tube sock that is, I don't even know how that would work, but hey, surely there has to be a better solution than this. Mind blown. Mind blown. All right, what are we going to have? Okay. Wait, no. I didn't hear what you said. Hang on a second. Oh, she's talking about static electricity. Okay, so obviously you build up a whole bunch of static electricity when you brush your hair. Here we go. Is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? Oh, it actually does seem to work. Oh, that is actually pretty cool. I mean, I didn't actually hear what she said, but I can only assume it looks like a paper towel. towel. So in saying that, I don't really understand how the paper towel soaks up the static electricity, but no, what can I say? I certainly can't argue with concrete evidence like that. And considering the amount of people that would just be going, oh, my hair's so massive because I have to brush it and kind of all just fluffs it out, and then this just kind of gets rid of all that electricity. Well, man, that's pretty impressive. And in saying that, I wonder if the paper towel would be reusable, or really just what else you could do besides a paper towel. Because even though you might go, oh, it's only one paper towel, really, if you're just going to be brushing your hair with paper towel every single time, you're going to be going through quite a few. And so if you can kind of just reuse it, I don't even really know, but surely there must be something else besides a paper towel that does the same thing. And that's even if it is a paper towel. I mean, one of theirs definitely looks like a paper towel, but the other one kind of looks a little bit more smooth, so who knows. And also, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but surely you would actually kind of, to get the best results, you want to be doing this from all the way at the top of the head all the way down, because then you're going to be cleaning the entire, or just clearing all the static out. I mean, even though I guess if you're going to be tying your hair up, you're probably going to be having it pretty tight, so it's not going to be as much of kind of a mess or just fluffy. But still, surely if you were worried about it in the first place, you would just want to do it to the entire head. And so I'd love to see that. Just suddenly you just go, your head just shrinks because the entire thing just flattens out because there's just no static electricity anymore. But hey, what do I know? I certainly wouldn't consider myself to be a master in this subject, but I guess if nothing else, I can appreciate just how well it works. And really, it's just impressive that the entire thing can soak up that much static electricity, you know, or even just that it transfers it between from the inside to the outside of the hair bundle. And so like always, when there's a life hack on here that I don't really know anything about, or it doesn't really apply to me, then I just kind of observe from the distance. I mean, I can obviously understand that this is probably helpful for a whole bunch of people, but at the same time, I just go, I guess that's pretty cool for what it is, but it just doesn't really hit home for me. So hey, that's fine, you know, the life hacks is just a very, very broad sub, and that's all good. We can all just kind of pick and choose what we get. Trucker showing how to stay safe using a seatbelt. What are we going to have for a seatbelt? I feel as though seatbelts are generally quite straightforward. You know, you just kind of click them down. But okay, let's see what she's got at night. Wait, hang on a second. Before I go any further, I definitely hope that this is being at night when you're kind of sleeping in a sleeper cab of a truck. Not that you just kind of drive her around. But anyway, let's just see what she has. Obviously, she's going to click it in. And what? I guess what? The door can't be opened? Yeah, wow. I mean, once again, like the last one, I can understand how this would work. But at the same time, I don't really understand how it applies. Like, is she actually talking about, or at least she didn't specify, is she talking about kind of when you're driving around? Because that doesn't seem very safe. You surely can't just be putting a seatbelt through the door. Like, that's definitely not recommended. I don't care what kind of situation you're in. And so I feel as though I'd be right in saying that this is more so for people sleeping in their car. I mean, that definitely makes sense in that regard. Or maybe if you're kind of just driving alone and you want to kind of just permanently on hard lock kind of the other doors, because I guess even though I feel as though you could lock the door in that circumstance, maybe at the same time, if you actually just want kind of a more permanent just seatbelt lock, it, then I guess I can kind of understand that regard, but I just don't really understand what the exact situation she's trying to describe here is. So look, obviously you could go down a very deep rabbit hole just about this entire situation and their problem and everything in that regard, but at the same time I just wish she specified which and when to kind of use this, because like I said, surely there is no way that she's actually meaning when you're driving around, because I don't understand how that would actually be, well, just recommended in any way. You know, you're locking up your seatbelt and tying it to the door. That's not kind of just securing you at all. And so even though I can definitely support people trying to communicate different safety measures, at the same time, definitely just make sure you're specifying which one, because I feel as though, considering the fact that I even thought about it, there's probably someone out there that would go, oh, driving at night, okay, I'm going to do that, and just going to do it and not think about what could go wrong in the event is that something does go wrong. And so look, obviously something like this could literally be a life hack. We're literally in kind of two ways, you know, it could both be positive and negative. And look, even though we are in life hacks and you're kind of assuming people have thought about this stuff, or obviously they have, but at the same time, like I said, even with the fire, you know, take precautions just with all these things. I will always do this now. What are we all going to be doing now? Here we go. What has he got? Has he got some kind of power lead? I have absolutely no idea what he's got, but oh, he's talking about figure eighting. Ah, yes, the best way to kind of do cables. Well, I guess it's not the best way. There was obviously just a million ways, but really this is just kind of like rope techniques for cable, but I can only assume that I don't even know what it is. Is it cable? Yeah, okay, I have to listen to it again, but he said a damn cord, and so I barely heard it. But no, hey, obviously this does work, but really I don't know why you would walk it from to the other end. I mean, obviously you're halving it, but then you obviously if you kind of need to walk it out, you're going to have both ends at the same location, and so that's a little bit annoying. And so look, even though you would have to do double the figure eight motions, I feel as though if you just kind of grabbed one end and did it and just kind of walked towards it or dragged it towards you, then at least the figure eight would be properly stacked, and so you wouldn't have to kind of be worried about it all just folding all over itself and getting tangled as you walk it out to wherever you need to go. And also, even though he did show you how to kind of wrap it around and tie it up, really you can do that just with the one end as well, and it's kind of easier to get undone. So look, like I said, it's definitely a good way of figure eighting, so you're kind of keeping all the copper and everything, you're not kinking things, you're not twisting things. It's definitely going to extend the life of the cable if nothing else, but I feel as though I would just rather do this other ways. And like I said, this kind of thing is just been derived from tying up ropes and things like that, and there are a million different ways to do ropes. You can do it over your shoulder, you can do it kind kind of in a coil. There are like so many easy ways, and even though figure eighting is kind of good for cables and like literally like copper cables instead of ropes and things, at the same time I can't not personally help just critique little things that he's done that I would personally not do. I mean, really in the end it's just kind of tying up a cord, so you don't have to worry about it too much. It's nothing kind of safety wise, or unless you're going to be crimping the copper and so you're going to be having cracks and things like that, and you definitely don't want that in any of your cords. But like I said, I just feel as though there are just a couple of ways that I would personally do it differently, and that's all it is. He can do it one way, I'll do it my way, but look, it is definitely just a general life hack, especially given a long one. If you're only dealing with a 5-meter one, you can just do a little hand coil and that'll be fine. But if you are like this guy dealing with 20, 30, 50-meter cords and just going, how the hell am I meant to wrangle all this cable? Well, that is a perfect way. Every single rotation there that he's done is virtually a meter. I guess in the figure eight's about 2 meters, and so exactly like he showed, you can wrap up so much distance in such a short amount of time when you do it like this. But hey, really, I feel as though this is just a nice and easy way that people want to be doing it, and like this person said, they're going to do it every way from now on. Well, they just go for it, because I feel as though everyone should know at least one proper way to kind of be wrapping up a cord so it doesn't get tangled and all these kind of things. Everyone is always dealing with just annoyingly tangled cords, and really if that is one way that just kind of avoids that entire situation, then go for it. There are plenty of ways to be going about this, and this is just one pretty decent way. And hey, look, maybe you do one Google search and suddenly you've just discovered an entirely new way, or you just made a new way that you actually found really easy. And so look, that is just a perfect way to do it. But if you can actually just make something that you really like, it doesn't get tangled, it's just so easy, I can hold, it's just a mount of cable, then that is just going to be perfect. And so look, what can I say? This guy's sharing his information, I'm sharing my information, and it's just all life hacks in general. It's great. Luxury background. Oh, that is a very nice fur rug that they've got there. Look at that, just a perfect luxury background. And really, if you have multiple cats, you can just experiment with all the different colors and textures and everything all over the cat. And really, like, even you move to the back of the leg, you're going to suddenly have a little bit more gray in there. You move to the top of the head, you've got so many options. But no, that works so well, and I can only imagine that it would come up so well on camera as well. I mean, I certainly say that there is definitely both a size and a weight kind of maximum that you can do this with. You definitely would not be wanting to try and give your car a luxury background, saying that it works perfectly for things exactly like that, just kind of all makeups and all those kind of things, that is literally like what you would see on a cosmetics brand kind of just advertisement, just a perfect luxury background. And hey, who would have known it was a cat? And look, let's not just limit it to cats, you can probably use dogs, you can use, I don't know, if it was small enough, you might be able to use rabbits and things like that, and you get all these different textures of fur. I mean, obviously, like a rabbit is going to be so soft. I mean, obviously, virtually all of the fluffy animals are going to be so soft, but you'd be all these different differences, and really, that would just be the beauty of all the different kind of pictures you'd be able to get out of the same product. I mean, in saying that, I can see one drawback, and that is the fact that you have to try and keep your cat still enough to just be putting things all over it like this. But hey, look, if you have just kind of a sleepy cat that wants to do this all day and that's what you want to be doing, then I guess it's going to work perfectly. Or I guess if you do desperately want that photo, you could probably just resort to kind of distracting the cat, just doing anything you can to try and keep it still enough for a second, or at least just for enough time to snap a photo. And to be honest, even though this entire post is obviously marketed towards people just trying to do the luxury look at home, at the same time I would love to know how they really do it. Well, I mean, in kind of just of a studio or whatnot. I mean, I guess at least half the time there would definitely be Photoshop involved already. Obviously there's always going to be Photoshop involved, but just in terms of the background. But I must admit, it does make me wonder how they do all these perfect backgrounds. You just all these different textures. From a post-production perspective, you would 100% rather just have a clean photo with the background already there than have to try and just mold it in Photoshop. And also in saying that, even though the iPhone will probably take a darn good photo, and most people, especially in terms of where it's going to be shared, would never even be able to tell the difference, at the same time I would love to see this kind of photo and just see how extreme you could take it in terms of just the quality. You get all these studio lights, you get all this stuff, and just see how many people you could trick in terms of being in the industry, just in terms of just, oh, how do you get that background? Well, I used my cat. Because I feel as though you would be able to trick a whole bundle of people into thinking you put a whole lot more effort than you even did. So hey, what can I say? As long as the cat's kind of into it and it doesn't mind you putting things all over it and you're just kind of making and framing your own shots, then I see nothing wrong with doing this. Obviously you get the luxury look that you're after, you get to spend time with your cat gets to spend time with you, even though it's all over your keyboard, and really just every single person wins in this situation. Wear a towel securely by folding the top edge down twice. This forms a belt that prevents towel related wardrobe malfunctions. Now I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but I would have thought that everyone would have been able to figure this out on their own, or just would have known it if nothing else. I mean, I guess in a way that's exactly what this sub is for, but really I thought this was uncommon solutions to common problems, not common solutions to, well, not really a problem. I just cannot believe that this post is as high as it is, considering, well, that means a whole lot of people are having a whole lot of wardrobe malfunctions, and really obviously no one has ever told them how to fix it. But I guess I should take a step back, because this subreddit is definitely not one to judge. Everyone's just going to have their own little random, I think, problems that they have to deal with in terms of just needing solutions. And so if this is a problem that you've been struggling with and you're just going, oh, the towel is just always falling down at, well, probably at the most inconvenient timings, or maybe even just not inconvenient, but just, well, not very appropriate time, then look no further than rolling it down. I mean, it makes so much sense, you're just stretching it over itself, so then it's kind of just being bound together. And I would imagine that most people would feel quite stylish walking around with a belt as a towel. I mean, I've just been thinking about it going, surely there is something wrong with this, and the only thing I can think of is the fact that you are going to be a little bit limited in terms of how much you can walk. If you are binding your towel up that tight, it's definitely not going to stretch. So in saying that, you are suddenly going to have a very short stride length, so you might be just kind of shuffling around like a penguin all over the place. But hey, if that's the kind of price you have to pay for not having wardrobe malfunction, then I guess go for it. But look, what can I say? All of these things have been posted to life hacks, not life perfection, so you might have a couple of trade-offs here and there, or like with a fire one, you're going to be having to carry around an extra plastic bag and then a shovel, or with a cat one, you're going to be having to have a cat. And so I guess in saying that, a lot of these do have trade-offs that you're just going to have to live with. But considering the fact that this many people are obviously having this problem because it is just, well, all the way up nearly towards the top of the month, I can only assume that people would be more than happy to make that trade-off just so they can not have to deal with the towel. I mean, in saying that, what just makes you from just kind of holding up your towel? Because unless you were suddenly going to whack a towel on to go and get the shopping from the car, really, I can only assume you're going to be having two hands, or at least one hand to kind of hold it up. And so I don't know about this one. Like I said, it doesn't really affect me, and I never would have thought that it's actually just a life hacks kind of problem. But hey, I guess I just have to take a step back. That is definitely going to be about twice the size of these people that have to ping it around, and just kind of consider it from the outside. If this is a problem, here's your fix. And so now finally, for the top of the month for life hacks, we have free money. Alright, what are we going to have? I love free money. What piece of information that free... Okay, wait. No, okay, obviously we have a kind of a duetty thing. What's a piece of information that you learned that feels illegal to know? That is a hell of a statement, but I certainly hope that people aren't going to be kind of coming out with some very, well, random things. But here we go. What is this going to have? Most hospitals in America are non-profits. Okay, once again, we have another one that I just... Well, it doesn't really affect me, even though it clearly affects a whole bundle of people, and I never really understand how people even do that in the States. What can I say? Even though I can be empathetic towards the people that just get absolutely screwed over by the system, at the same time, I just don't really understand the entire thing in the first place. But hey, just like the last one, I'll take a step back and I just want to listen to what this guy has to say. So most hospitals in America are non-for-profit. If you make under a certain amount of money, the hospital will legally have to forgive you for your medical bills. Alright then, let's just see what he's going to do. Payments of financial assistance. Go to the site and look for their policy. This certainly does feel as though you're just kind of hacking into the system, and it is definitely illegal. I don't really understand this entire federal poverty levels, but man, that seems insane. But looking at the last table and everything, it was 0 to 300, and so what he's saying, like he just said, so if you make under 37 grand, and any of these figures, I mean obviously that's all under 37 grand, then they just have to forgive it all. That absolutely feels as though it's just illegal and some kind of just backdoor entry into the hospital system that no one should know. Wow, well, what can I say? With the limited information that I know about the entire system, and like I said, just how kind of weird and wacky and backwards it feels to me, at the same time I can certainly look at a simple table like that and listen to what he said and see that if you earn less than, what was it, like 37 grand, then the hospital has to forgive all of the medical bills. I feel as though that is just completely life-changing for so many people in the States, because, well, clearly there is just a massive problem. And even though I do feel as though it's a very strange jump going from a towel to hospital bills that kind of can wreck people's lives, I mean, I guess dropping a towel kind of might wreck your life as well if you're going to do it at the inappropriate moment. But no, considering the fact that this is just absolutely blown all the other ones out of the month, like that towel one was like 30k and this one's 50 or over 50k, then I can definitely see, and well, really, I can just understand that this would mean so much to so many people, because even the fact that it scales with a household, it's like actually being considered in there. There actually are systems in place to help people out, even though all of these things, whether it be fine print and all those kind of things, are generally or just, well, never ever kind of discussed and promoted. There are actually systems out there to help people, and this is one of them. If you are earning under whatever, if your household size is 5, then you can earn up to 90,000 a year and your entire medical bill would be forfeited. Like, that is just crazy. And look, obviously this isn't going to be able to help everyone, and people are still going to be in trouble in so many different situations, just have massive bills, they're all coming out of everywhere. But what can I say besides the fact that this just feels like it's so much more of a life hack than anything else we've seen on here, So hey, you have to give props to this guy for kind of sharing that illegal knowledge, because, well, look, like I said, it could just completely change so many people's lives, and considering the fact that it is top of the month for life hacks, honestly, I wouldn't put it past it just to have already changed someone's life. So yeah, absolutely props to that guy for sharing that information, and if it helps you out, just, well, go for it. Just kind of run after everything you can, because it makes so much sense too. But really, like I said, I just don't know enough about it, because I guess I'm just fortunate enough to not have to deal with or just even need this life hack. But anyway, that is going to do it for the top of the month for life hacks, so thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to do the YouTube algorithmic things down below. Let me know if you had a favorite post of any of these. Other than that, we check out awesome posts all over Reddit, so make sure you check some of the other videos out now, or hey, maybe even just want to consider subscribing so you don't miss another one of these in the future. Have a good one, and see ya.